Okay, sorry. For my presentation, I'll be presenting in English instead of Japanese for a little bit of a break. So I'd like to present to you today what we've been doing in Professor Ogata's laboratory over the last year at Kyoto University. We've been trying to develop or should I say, we have been developing a LMS Independent LA Platform. And my name is Brendan Flanagan. I'm currently a program-specific researcher or postdoc in Professor Ogata's lab at the Academic Center for Computing and Media Studies in Kyoto University. So why develop an LMS independent LA platform? There are numerous LMS platforms that are being used in educational institutions. I'm sure many of you know Moodle, Sakai, Canvas, Blackboard, and the list goes on. Developing LA tools for these LMS platforms inherently becomes LMS dependent and platform dependent. So it's difficult to develop a tool that will work on every single learning analytics LMS platform. So the advantage of having a LMS independent learning analytics platform is you can integrate with existing tools by using standards-based interfaces. And also by having an LMS independent platform, you can also have a common platform for sharing learning analytics tools and also results. So here's an overview of the platform that we've been developing over the last year or so. When we came to Kyoto University initially, we were faced with one problem, which Mino Sensei did mention. We have an LMS which is basically run as a production system. It's not for research use. So developing tools on top of that LMS is inherently difficult. So this is why we developed a new learning analytics platform, which basically divides the LMS from the actual learning analytics platform. So here for the time being, it's a research system, basically where we want to conduct research in learning analytics. And it's divided into four major components. We have the LMS. In our case, it's in the production environment. We have behavior sensors, which are used to collect data from various different learning contexts. We then have a central LRS, or learning record store, which collects all of the data in a standardized format. And then we have an analysis tool, which provides both processing and also visualization, which we can then display the results of learning analytics back to stakeholders. So, as I explained before, basically the personal information, so the student's name, email address, and all of that personal identifying information is kept on the LMS side of the system. In our case, it's in production system, and it's the security and all of that is dealt with by IT. We then use a standards-based protocol to then authenticate and also transfer some data towards the research system. And in this case, we identify students by a UUID. And then once the data is processed, we then use an ID translator to then get those results back into a form that students, teachers, and other stakeholders can relate to within the LMS system. So on the LMS side of things, we have three main parts. We have an LTI plugin. LTI stands for Learning Tool Interoperability. And this basically acts as a way of authenticating with the outside behavior sensors and also the analysis tool. And so this is based on a standard that's being created by IMS Global. And we also have data within the LMS. So for example, data on events that happen within the LMS, and also course data that we need to gather to analyze the data collected in the behavior sensors. And that's sent out to the LRS by either, in our case with Sakai, currently it only has a proprietary API, but also we can use XAPI, which is a standards-based protocol for sending event data. And then finally we have LTI here once again to interact with the analysis tool, and there's an ID translator that changes the UID back into names or email addresses without storing the information on the system. Okay, moving on to the behavior sensors. So once authentication is granted from the LMS, it launches basically a behavior sensor. So currently we have Bookroll, which has been in quite a few presentations already today. Another system that we're currently trying to integrate is Scroll. I'll touch on that a little bit later, but we also have, because it is standards-based, we can integrate additional tools within the system in the future. And the events data from these tools is basically exported by XAPI to the LRS. So, yeah, as you've probably heard many times today, Bookroll is a digital learning material reader. And so basically we use it as a reading behavior sensor and supports various devices, etc. And currently we're basically trying, one particular good reason for using Bookroll for teachers is that you can easily update contents. So anytime you've got an internet connection, you can update contents easily. However, students' bookmarks and markers and memos are related to the pages of the previous contents that weren't updated. So currently we're working on connecting students' activities across new versions of learning materials so that teachers can update without having to worry about students' bookmarks, markers, etc. being all jumbled up with a new version. Scroll is an informal learning behavior sensor. So it allows us to monitor what's happening in learning outside the classroom. And these sorts of additional sensors could be added to the system. As I said before, all the data from those behavior sensors is then stored in the LRS. And so the LRS is a standardized central data storage. It supports data collection from multiple sources, and it's a one-point access for data analysis. And currently we're working on connecting multiple LRSs, so in different institutions using blockchain technology. Using this technology, it enables students and teachers or administrators to control data permissions. So you can control who gets permission to see your data or who gets to analyze your data. Say if I go from Kyoto University to another institution, I can opt to take my data with me using this particular feature. And yeah, so the ability to transfer your data from one institution to another by blockchain. And then moving on to the analysis tool, it's basically an extendable framework that we've developed. It supports multiple data analysis methods, so generating or updating user models, content models, or predicting the grades of students are just some possible analysis that could be done. This framework also supports rule-based data access. So once again, say if a student accesses the visualizations on the analysis tool, we want to show them only what is their data. So we can identify their data with their name, but other students, because of privacy, we might want to allow them to see the names of other students in their class, but they can still see a general overview without any personal information. And the visualization framework, basically, it offers a customizable and personalized dashboard, and also it offers the ability for stakeholders to monitor and compare results with others. We also have the chance to do user-specific personalized feedback, because we do know who is actually accessing the dashboard, so who's looking at the dashboard, what is relevant feedback for them. And in our dashboard, we actually do user behavior event logging, so we can see what visualizations, what results users are looking at, and that can also be used for research purposes. And currently we have 4 main graphs that we've developed for the platform. It looks like this. So thank you for your attention. And also, if you're interested in our learning analytics platform, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.